Lights up? Is it light people? Person? I'm going to introduce you to my colleague Robert Lever. Robert, can you stand up, please?
We're going across the way to the gallery, and we're going to engage the first four questions that Larry put up there in some learning cafes. You'll have a chance to participate in at least three of the questions. We'll be rotating through them, and I'll explain all the details later. But this is an opportunity to get your thinking out, to engage each other in a more intimate conversation about the stuff that you're hearing here that you want to take further. I'll explain all that in a bit. We're going to do that about 9:45. What time is it now? 9:45. Oh.
Well, no, we can take a short break now. I did factor in a short break there, so 10-minute break.
10 minutes.
And then I think we've got coffee out here, Bob, Natalie. Then we'll reconvene in the gallery on the other side of the hallway here.
Just walk straight across there with glass walls. You'll see it. The Slater Mill Gallery.
Sorry.
I'm stepping in.
Oi! Quiet. Please. Did that work better than the bells?
It usually does.
No, I came over last night. I
If I could have your rapt attention,
come today. The first one off is 12:30.
5 minutes of your time.
Back tomorrow.
Wild card table. Just give me 5 minutes so I can explain what we're going to do. You are in a cafe.
Oh, we're looking for a direction.
And you don't have anything to drink though.
No, we can have some.
Even though it says don't bring any drink.
No, that's right. Mine is covered, I just got it.
So you're in a cafe, you're about to have a great conversation, and what often happens in a cafe is you start noodling. Maybe there's a tablecloth like there is here. And on the cafe, we want to start to think about all the good ideas you have in your head. I'm going to explain a couple of ground rules so we maximize this conversation. One, there is no facilitator at the table. Everyone sitting here facilitates. There is no recorder at the table. Everyone at the table records their ideas or perhaps the ideas of somebody else. So everybody facilitates, everybody records. Secondly, it's okay to have different points of view. So if George has one point of view and Ernest has another point of view, you can actually put them both on the tablecloth and say, George thinks this way, Ernest thinks this way. It's very important to put those disagreements or those creative tensions on the paper tablecloth. Third, avoid flip chart mania. You know what flip chart mania is? Someone's making a sequential list. A sequential list. Make the whole tablecloth your canvas. Francine, you might start an idea over here. Fred might start an idea over here. Kind of here. Use the whole tablecloth. The second thing about flip chart mania, and you've all been to these meetings, is someone stands up there and reports, people report out and someone quickly scribes everything. And it's usually very generalized abstractions. You get the notes and you say, what happened? There's no detail. There's no particulars. There's no specifics. So full thoughts, full ideas. Go for the detail. I had a thought, but I lost it. I'll come back to that.
I understand.
You understand? I'm 59 years old. I can't believe what happens. You know, another senior moment. Okay.
1947 was a great year.
You're both 47 too?
1947 was a great year.
It's okay to piggyback on ideas. You know, you might start something and you can kind of add into it. Visualize, you can draw, you don't have to just do text. We are going to do a transcript of all these tablecloths as part of our work here today. And Well, at the end, we're going to circulate through these conversations. We'll do some rotation, and I'll give you the time I'm going to rotate. After about 15 minutes, I'm going to ask you to pick another table. All right? So you get to pollinate. You can take an idea from here to a different table, see how it combines or starts to create even another idea. We'll do that several times, and then you're going to come back to the table you started, and you'll see a conversation, as you all know, George, that's been built on. It started one way, and then as additional folks came to the table, it took on a different life, a different form. And then your job will be to pull out some nuggets, and we'll talk all about the nugget pulling toward the end of this workshop. So, I think we're ready to go. We have plenty of paper. In fact, we should give you much more paper than 2 sheets. And I'll come around in a minute to do that. So, remember, nobody facilitates, nobody records. Everybody facilitates, everybody records.
I'm Charlotte Johnson with Rose Island.
Kathy Johnson, Slater Mill. And Slater Mill.
Okay.
It's funny, this is the first time I've come out to the conference. My name is Jim Murphy from Block Island. But one of the things that we're concerned with on Block Island is not how many people we get. Who we get. As far as tourism. Not ready. Not after the day trip. They'll come by themselves. That money that comes off the boat, spend a little bit of food and stuff. Maybe they go to the beach. They have a nice day, but it's sustainable for us if people come to stay overnight. Nice hotel. First one we don't want to see is a hotel. Whether they're locals or
It's also knowing the story that whether it's research or whether it's just an academic organization, it's really important to know what's the news about poetry. Right, so knowing where you are.
We'll try. But I liked your idea, Walter.
Hilton can come and buy an actual hotel. They can even get permission. They have to get permission. They can even get permission to tear it down. So long as they agree to put the thing back up exactly the way it is on the outside right now. And if they don't do that, they can't do anything. No, we've done it. That was a lesson we learned when a group of islanders 25, 30 years ago went to Nantucket and saw what was happening in Nantucket. And we learned from some of the mistakes Nantucket made, and Nantucket made some of their corrections. So we're also dealing with some of the solutions that they got.
Are we all I think that we need to, no, we've got 15 minutes, so I'd like you to write that down.
I don't know how, I'm not a good one for writing things down. I really am. I'm a tour guide on the island. I used to be in the jewelry business, so I understand the economy and the evolution of the economy out here because I was in the jewelry business.
Maybe we could say, I don't know how this works, we could say what people are going to stay for.
Yes, very definitely going to stay for a while. We're preserving the place. For us, that's the first, that's the first.
So for you, the concept of sustainability is preservation, conservation.
At least on Block Island, yes.
Qualities that you want to sustain that would be a nice start, and that would be part of our inclusive inventory.
We really nurture people's interests. They become part of the process. They become part of the community. Give them the knowledge, what the resources are that are available to them, and then we make them conserve they can become invested in the police and they become lifelong supporters.
It's experiential.
Experiential.
It's also a very big environmental part, like where is the place, what are the surroundings? It's one thing to have it here, it's something about the tourist class as opposed to
out on sale. And for me,
Are you working
making
over
the public
Johnson
and the
and
people,
Wales or the
our
other
own
tourism
ourselves understand that we have the assets and
I don't, that'd be a great project for
things that we have this distance that we don't really know what we want to say.
She
What
played
we have to
us.
say. I'm not sure if I'm explaining myself well. Like, in the past year or so, there's been this big boom in business in Rhode Island. Once about 2.5 hours away. Meaning fully, visitors from 2.5 hours away with buses. Cost of fuel and the cost of traveling and the terrorism the idea behind. Many Americans have decided to spend time around.
Or is it like a political message? I mean, is anything going to get done? Sorry, it's not a Rhode Island slave, that's start with the end in mind.
Environmental quality of hospitals are urban. What was most interesting about what you're doing, I think of every old railroad, what railroad it was, what it served, and the tunnel
kids will enjoy it and not be exposed to a bunch of relevant drugs. And same thing schools do it. In the agricultural area where it's become an experiential thing. Where there's not lots of
Can't let that happen. is the community involved?
To answer your question, yes, it has. The problem is, exactly, you have to be, and you work with people,
I didn't come up with my own sustainable tourism policy, and I'll be very happy when you're done, because you're going to have the fact that Eileen said, hey, what did I do
which is the average, okay? You know, for a period of time. Okay, so there's not less. It's the impact of how they're spending it. The net impact is that, you know, we not only are we getting, we're trying, for us, what we've got to do is we're getting more people for longer stays, but those shorter stays now are being the challenge of getting people to come out, okay, and it's the cost, okay, the utility cost for somewhere like Block Island is tremendous for the person coming over, for fuel, okay, for diet. But the historic district concept, which works with the State Historic Preservation Commission, is we're talking to lots of historic buildings, and you need districts, you need to have districts involved. So we have a unique situation in Rhode Island. Probably blows us no good when I get rid of it. That's 39 cities and towns in an area that's 48 miles long.
what is it? I mean, it's one thing to create the message to give to people, but what is it that you're doing to find out what people want to learn about or why they're there? So, in a whole way, you can say, here's your here's all, it's got to ask, what is it that you're interested in? Because you want to involve that person. They're not interested in weaving, you know, but they're interested in the mechanics of the machinery, just like that, or the quality of the water, you know, that kind of thing. There's so many elements to a site that you need to be able to break it down and have your people really, really knowledgeable about every single element. It's not like they need to share it all on one.
All our ideas to the next table. Smart.
May I have some rapture? Some rapture in the room, please. 2 points. Walter came to me just as we started, and he said, is there any way we could bring the conversation down a little? So this is a very tight room for 60-something people. There should be about 40 people in this room. We have over 60 people registered. It was a groundswell of late arrivals, so to speak. So you could just bring it down a little, almost a hush. How's that, Walter? A hush. Now, it's by nature, Walter. Now, what we're going to do is have a rotation. I'd like one person to volunteer to be the host. I'll explain what the host does after you volunteer. But it's a minor role. It's not heavy duty, okay? Just someone to stay behind to be the host for the conversation, to show people who come next what got discussed. You're going to then move on to another topic, and I will explain what the topics are. Those two up there are conditions, looking at conditions, current and emerging. These two are looking at what is sustainable placemaking. These two tables are looking at what are the possibilities and concerns of sustainable tourism. And these guys, I have no idea what they're up to. Because these are the two wild card tables. So you have no idea what you're walking into over here. No idea. You do not move in mass. You can go to any topic you want. So this whole table doesn't go to another table together. Remember to pollinate. take ideas and drop them into the other conversations. So we begin to have some themes and threads emerging. So find another table, and then I'll give you the next step.
Sustainability.
We should probably write down how many things
This is about sustainable making based on conditions. Yes. Hey, Rob? Rob? We need more paper.
Okay. No, I was not. I was thinking of the next day. Yeah, that's right. That one is really good morning.
Did you get one of those little bags? You'd like to ask in the shop if you can just put some stuff in that little bag. Yeah, right in there. And we'll have it for you guys.
Hi, Dave. Nice to meet you.
I guess I'll slide in and join you.
Okay. Here's what the host's job is. It's a really simple job. Walk people through the conversation that has just occurred. Just walk them through how it unfolded. And make sure that if people want to comment or debate, they can do so. They can add. But you could also say, well, that was interesting, but let's start over. And you take some new paper, stick it on top, and move the conversation in a different direction. Host job, walk people through the conversation and then invite others to add, debate, or get clarification. It's that simple. Oh, does anyone need markers? Yeah, you're in the right place.
Over and over? You don't have to do that. People can add to this way. Okay.
I'd explain that, Kathy.
The conversation went from trying to define what it was around the place itself, which is experiential, voices of the community, participatory stewardship, knowing where you are, knowing exactly what that place is, and then went to what's the place in which the place is placed in terms of the new environment that it grows organically, trying to be different than seeing a casino in the desert, but looking at whether the salt box houses that were in front of us. So that was what we wanted to talk about, was the place, the authenticity of the place, and knowing from the stories, where are you? You tell the story where you are, very clear who you are. We talked about the themes, what are the unifying themes? Then we talked about the next piece beyond defining the place, defining the...
bringing people back into a childhood idea, to make them understand what life used to be in more of a modern approach is very important. This stems from time spent in Napa Valley in California, where they've been able to capitalize on a single street. Certainly they have wineries, certainly they have a beautiful landscape, but it really is not much different or better than what we have here. It's just that our structures are different, but they have seemed to understand each other and what they're trying to say. So essentially what I'm trying to say is that it starts with the people, our ability to try to
people in the community, people in educational institutions, university film programs, etc., to be involved in the storytelling through short films, through competition tied into local geotourism. What I said is these film programs are very, very interested in linking to young people in high school and middle school that have this creativity and this propensity to this. So expand the network. He can act. This film festival can act as an entity to identify connecting points and build and strengthen the connectors between those points. So that was this discussion. This is something Cecilia wrote about Ohio. Coastal tourism along rivers. Oh, I know. This was a conversation about our rural area. Much of the geotourism foundation we have is based on watersheds. So that was a similarity between the bay and us. So this was, yes. So that's pretty much how these scratches evolved on this paper.
I see virtually no other relationship between Rhode Island and Disney. We are the anti-Disney as a state.
I'm sorry. Well, remember what he said in there. He said there's really 3 stages of tourism. Touring, there's R&R, and there's entertainment. This is entertainment. So entertainment. People want to touring tends to be a little more adventurous.
How are all the things sort of brought together in one sort of global discussion? And I think that really does need to happen, and it doesn't happen except in the very rarest of cases.
That's where you probably block out might be a good example where it can happen, because, election government is tourism county.
Right.
Okay? And representatives from all the various councils go to different meetings. Okay? You're coming out next Monday to talk about our...
What else?
Well, I think we face, I'll shut up, we really, we are a little bit ahead of the curve in that we're really facing up to limits to growth. We have a land use plan that is saying unless we really focus future development on our urban corridor, the rest of our open space, so to speak, urban space is going to be consumed in the next 10 years, period. Lots of projections of what will happen, but we are really facing those questions.
This is the first time I met Brad. The arts community. Well, I think you have to just stimulate somebody to come out and join you, no matter whether a great way of going to them is also getting to their children, if they have children, to introduce that at field trips in schools. They go someplace. Schools or educators also responsible. One thing, I was a teacher in another state when I came here. I was very amazed that you don't have Rhode Island history. In the state of New Jersey, we teach it in the 4th grade. There is no education about your own state. So a curriculum, I think, in education is very important to learn about, because when you learn about it, as new residents, you respect what your history was. You learn why you came to this place. It's just not a place that you came to live. It's a place that is a history that you really should know about. The children.
Savile Magazine and Gourmet. What we did, we tried to sell the street. And I've always said, sell the street, don't sell the restaurants. Because once you sell the street,
marketing terms,
sell the street, don't sell the individual restaurants. So a magazine will come in and say, let's do a piece on, I don't know, Jewish cooking, and let's interview Walter. And I will say, yes, you can interview me, but there are other people on the street who offer other experiences, you know, some Southern Italian, whatever that may be. We have not been able to, all of our business people, to put together an association that we can say Federal Account Association and sell it.
You have that? You say you do, you have not been able to.
And it's sad because
I did sound from everybody.
The same host remains at the table, others move. It's hard. I tried the bell. The bell failed, actually. You get a set of these for your training. Folks, we're going to rotate again. Those two topics are conditions. These two topics are about sustainable placemaking. These are about the possibilities and concerns of sustainable tourism, and of course, the wild card. Now you started out with both women over here. What happened? I don't know. That was good.
Thank you.
I'll be all right.
I know, okay, because he's not.
Do I stay here or
The economy will take care of it.
Did the nice one.
You're right. One's right.
So what is this? Folks, may I? Folks! Folks, may I now ask you to go back to the table, where you started this conversation at around 10 o'clock. And I'll give you some more. You're right where you are, okay?
Lovely talking to you.
Makes it unique. You're good.
Last time I went there was at night.
Thank you. Who's got that whistle? Thank you, Jeffrey. When the bells fail, the voice fails, you go to the powerful whistle. All right. Here's what we're going to do. But before I explain what we're going to do, I have to tell you a little story about Elmo here. Now I can't get him out of my pocket. This little creature belongs to my almost 5-year-old son, Diego. And this morning, I'm packing up to get him late, of course, and he says, Dad, will you take Elmo today with you and take care of him for me? Now, this is the 5th time he has given me one of his stuffed animals, a different one, and said, take care of him for me today. But make sure you bring him back. So that's what Elmo is. Just a quick story.
He's on tour.
He's on tour, exactly. The host job is now to walk people through the expanded conversation. There have been 2 conversations layered over the original conversation. And it should be interesting to see where people took the conversation. Did they stay within the framework that got established in the first conversation? Did they take it in a particular direction or do they start over? Your job is to walk people through. As you are walking people through, if you would, try to come to some collective agreement at the table about the nuggets. The nuggets are the ideas, questions, images, whatever, that are kind of rising to the top. The cream at the top of the old milk bottle, if you're as old as I am. Milk used to come with cream at the top. Remember that, Charlie? Yeah. So that's what we're looking for, the cream, the nuggets. When you've got your nuggets marked on the table, you will also see at your table some yellow cards and a big fat marker. See the big fat marker? What we'd like you to do is to visualize the nuggets, 2 or 3 at the most, onto the cards. And then we're going to collect all these cards and cluster them up here on these brown paper boards. So, host, walk people through the conversation. As you're walking through the conversation, note the nuggets, all the nuggets on the tablecloth with a special color, a check, a little star, whatever you want to use to make the nuggets visible. And then from the nuggets on the table, pick 2 or 3 you want to share with the group. If you need more than 3 lines, I know I'm going to get very anal here, if you need more than 3 lines, Rob up there has eggs. Eggs are ovals that we can add as elaborations to the original idea. Okay?
With the destination, what you said about destination, you're thinking about the actual place making itself, and the things around knowing our story, knowing our history, knowing about those. So that was that understanding was initially able to do kind of so you know how to interpret. That's what we get to
share something like that. It's too small, and if that prohibits us from really feeling that we can compete with everybody else.
I did I think because I was in the jewelry industry, I traveled quite a bit, selling Los Angeles, New York, Europe, Japan, just talking to different people, selling my product. Visiting. Because anytime I went anywhere, I made sure to get there for a couple of days and just go around and get familiar with the area and its people. But no, I never felt restricted. But I think that that's my parents. They were in business also. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. My memories as a kid of traveling down to see my relatives in Maryland.
And really understand and share information. One of the things that was a couple of different people from Long Island, some of the folks from Ohio, what they were really saying was that they may know their own story, they don't know each other's story. So what is the place? And to be able to define the place. If the place is Rhode Island, or is it the village of Nason? And how does the story of Nason fit? You know very well. You might not know Albion, which is so there's this piece about we're a combination of villages. But in what context are we telling the story? So that we can, when we come to one of these things where we're in Timbuktu and we meet somebody, what is the story of Rhode Island or Northern Rhode Island or the Blackstone Valley that we in fact we're not going to share information. Was the next piece. It's not a collective place where you can go, which says that this is what our state is about. This is the story of the story. We haven't figured out collectively what the story is that we need to be telling, or the stories that we need to be telling beyond our own experience. So that was one that was an amazing addition. The third edition was the so what fact. So you spent a whole lot of time looking at what your own story is. You spent some time with everybody else